Tickets are now on sale for this year's Roxbury International Film Festival. The event highlights people of color from around the world. The lineup goes all the way from a documentary about a Nobel Prize-winning novelist, Toni Morrison, to the opening film about creative freedom versus entertainment formulas. Fill us in is the festival's director, Lisa Simmons. Thank you very much for being with us, Lisa.
Thank you so much for having me.
I want to start off with the opener because this isn't the heaviest, most serious film in the lineup, but why open with it?
No, it's not at all. Actually, what's really interesting about the film is it's kind of a light look at Toni Morrison's life with Sonia Sanchez and Oprah and other people just sort of talking about this incredible woman and the things that she has achieved. So, I mean, people might think like, oh my gosh, like, beloved and all of this, it's going to be really heavy documentary. It's a really beautiful documentary on the person who she is that you might not have ever thought of her or known her to be this certain way. And that's why we wanted to open with it. One, because it's making its debut in theaters the next day, so we have the pre-opening of it, which is really exciting. And two, because Toni Morrison, I think, is beloved in this town, maybe even more so than other places, just based on her work and maybe the academic institutions here and everything like that. So we just felt like it was a really good piece to open with, and it's we're opening with two films, so that's the lead, and then we have another lighter but commentary film that rolls on after that.
Explain that other film, the commentary.
So
film.
Una Great Movie is funny, it's poignant. The filmmaker Jen Sharp is going to be here. She was actually in our festival about 10 years ago with a film called I'm Through with White Girls, which is very funny. And so this is sort of just a look at a woman, an African-American woman, trying to make a movie in Hollywood and all those sort of blocks that she comes against by trying to get it greenlit. And then white producers keep changing it and saying, well, you need this. And so every time she goes back to them and there needs to be a change, you see that in the movie. And so it ends up, I can't tell you the ending because that would ruin it all, but it's a very funny ending. And it's sort of a look at, how we all sort of struggle for a dream and we want a dream and the things that come up to block you from that dream. And for her, it was making this movie. And it's beautifully shot. She has a wonderful story behind it. She had, been to Mexico, fell in love with it, and then decided to go back there periodically over the course of 10 years, made some really great friends and people, and wanted to make sure that she was making a film about the Mexican community that was very different from what we see on TV, which is really so much about what our mission is for the festival, is to celebrate people of color around the world. And
it's a fundamental conflict too, because you want to tell the story of your people, whoever they are, but on the other hand, you're tempted to sell. You want this big audience. You want everybody on the planet to see it too, right?
Of course. I mean, that's what we always want. I mean, we have 68 plus films in the festival. We would love a full house for every one of them. We understand that that's not possible, but so we try to get the largest, best possible audience to see that film. And for us, it's really, if one person sees it, if two people see it, then they're going to be talking about it. I mean, one of the wonderful things I think about our festival is we are passionate about filmmakers and we are passionate about storytelling. And so we curate a festival that caters to both of that. So you are not, very rarely are you going to see something that's not like completely top-notch and quality. It's going to inspire you, it's going to educate you, it's going to make you laugh. And so that's really what we're all about and what we want to do.
This is Being in the News. We're talking with Lisa Simmons from the Roxbury International Film Festival. Of course, one reason this festival is international, you have movies at least about people in other countries. One of them is about boys going after the gold in Africa.
Money Stone, the Money Stone. Really interesting story. I knew nothing about this. So it's sort of like the illegal way to get gold, of which there is a lot of it apparently in Ghana, and these young boys, because they're small, dig these holes around these regions where there's gold and go inside of them and mine this gold, and there's no safety measures at all. And I was watching the opening of it and I felt so claustrophobic, and I thought, my gosh, what people do in order to just put food on the table, right? To have a way to support their families. And the wonderful thing about this film, though, also, this is why they're doing this, right? But it's also because they have a better dream for themselves, and they believe that this gold that they're going to find in these pits is really going to take them out of poverty. It's really going to move them to the next level. So, I mean, again, it's about dreams. It's about trying to pursue those dreams and trying to find a way to do that.
Back here, closer to home, another pursuit of a dream is in poetry slams.
Right. So our closing night film, which we're really excited about, is a Canadian film called Don't Be Nice. And it's basically a film about a bunch of young slam poets who are going into competition and sort of their trials and their tribulations about how they're developing their stories, and they're falling back, they're going forward, and then sort of what happens at the competition for that. And there's a few Boston-based and New England-based poets in it. Portia, our poet laureate, is actually in the film, and so we are actually not only having the screening, but we're going to have some performances as well before that screening.
Also on the list is a Green Book, but this is not the holiday feel-good film we're talking about.
This is not that Hollywood film that we're talking about. So I think there was a lot of controversy when that Green Book film came out, and there was a documentary that was also out at the same time, and so we really felt that it was important that we bring that story, that we bring the actual documentary of why the Green Book was created, and even more so, we felt it was really timely today with all of the things that are going on. And what's interesting is that there are a number of Green Book sites here in Boston and in Cambridge, and even in Medford, and people are always saying, why would there be Green Book sites in Boston? I'm like, because Boston has a history too, right? So we're really excited to bring this to the big screen. We're bringing the filmmaker in, and we're also creating a map for people to find those Green Book sites in Boston. So after they leave the screening, or throughout the course of the summer or whatever, they can go and see where these Green Book places actually existed.
Looking over the lifetime of this festival, do you see that this has sort of made a difference in some ways as far as the kind of work that's being promoted, that's being made accessible, even just new thinking in film?
I think so. I think that there were many of us around the country and internationally who were supporting independent filmmakers of color for a long time. This is our 21st year. There are plenty of festivals that are doing that, and we were doing that because there wasn't a space or a place for independent filmmakers of color or stories of people of color to be shown in greater places. So, it's exciting. It's exciting that people understand that these stories are important, that they're interested in these stories. When you look at Netflix and HBO and Hulu and Amazon, that are really now not only bringing in these stories and buying these stories from Sundance or South by, but they're actually asking filmmakers to make these stories and create series. So I think it's an exciting time for filmmakers of color. I think it's an exciting time for stories that tell a completely different narrative that's been told through Hollywood all these years. And so, for us, we're just happy that we keep doing what we're doing, and that the audiences are growing, and the interest in the stories that we're telling is growing, and that, I think, is incredibly exciting.
Well, tickets are on sale now. The opening is on the 19th of June, if I'm not mistaken.
So the pre-opening is the 19th, which is an outdoor screening of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which, by the way, if you have not seen it, it's a fabulous movie. And then the opening night red carpet gala screenings is the 20th of June at 4:30.
And where do you get more details about all this?
You can get more details on our website at Roxbury International Film Festival.com.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure.
Lisa Simmons from the Roxbury International Film Festival. Up ahead, celebrating graduation time with a profile in excellence from Bunker Hill Community College.